Hi, I'm Simon from Ben Rose Estate Agents, and today we wanted to do something a little bit different for you, and we wanted to have a conversation with a local renowned developer, and this is Michael Almond from Almond Estates. We are so proud to represent a development for Michael at the moment, and that is the Stables in Preston. These are fabulous homes, and we just wanted to talk a little bit more about these properties. So, Michael, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hope you're well. So, talk to me about the development that we're representing for you.
So yeah, it's a development of 5 houses that we've done down at Eves. We are building out of sit panel construction. They are a very unique build, and they are size-wise 3,300 square foot in size. Fantastic area. And yeah, they're a unique opportunity for somebody to come and snap up.
Yeah, they're very nice. I was really impressed when I first came to see the site, and obviously we go and see a lot of properties individually and together, and they really did impress me. Now, one thing that I did like about the site was its location. Now, you must get offered plenty of sites all the time. What was the reason which made you put other sites to one side and go forward with a project on this one?
Yeah, so again, we do get offered a lot of stuff over our table. We don't take everything. We're quite selective on what we do develop out, purely because we spend a lot of time and effort in developing these sites out, and they go a lot of love and attention goes into them. So we don't want to be putting our attention into something we don't enjoy driving to and being a part of. This was a site that got brought over to us from a local guy who was looking to relocate his business off the site. It had a couple of commercial units on there, and we dropped the 2 units back in January last year. Once he'd vacated the premises, and we just started with building these. So the area kind of drew us to it. The site was obviously, you've got a nice little local pub on the doorstep, which is called the Plough Inn, which is a fantastic little pub, nice little eatery. And then you've got as you come right out the driveway, in effect, you've got a little butcher's shop, grocery butchers called Honeywell's Butchers, which is a nice little place as well. So located in sandwiched between 2 nice little bases there. You're 12 minutes from Broughton Roundabout, so again, from a commuting aspect, it's fantastic as well. So yeah, it's nestled in a nice rural setting, but actually got good links and good amenities on its doorstep. So that was kind of one of our reasons for snapping up the site. Obviously, you've got massive, great aspects and open views to to the rear of each property as well, which is also great to wake up to in the morning. And yeah, that's kind of what drew us to the site.
So how many houses have you put on this particular development?
Just 5 on this. So yeah, 5 houses at 3,300 square feet in size. Couple of them have already gone down there now, so we've got a lot of interest on the other 3. So yeah, we're looking to demob and come off site completely end of June. Tarmac's booked in for mid-June as well. So yeah, we're starting to come off the site now, which is and then move these new buyers in.
Brilliant. You talked there about the square footage of the property. Now, the houses that I go and see, the large properties and substantial properties. That 3,000 to 3,500 is about the sort of sweet spot, isn't it, for that kind of house?
Yeah, I think it's a nice size house. Some people come in there and say these are absolutely massive.
Yeah. And they are.
I'm fortunate to live in a nice size property as well, and obviously the fact that it gives you a lot of space and gives you that flexibility to use rooms as you please, and you're not on top of each other, and it kind of gives that nice feel of your home. Flow. Your home's your home, and that's that. So I think it is a sweet spot. It's for value for money on the pound per square foot is fantastic, and I'm sure you as a valuer, you'll see what we're selling these at £1 per square foot compared to what people are either developing out or selling at £1 per square foot or trying to achieve. These are very reasonably priced, for what the spec we've done.
I think they're fantastic. We've had this conversation before. When I see the design of the property you've got, the location of the properties that you normally build in, which are really exclusive sort of developments, the designs are super contemporary, super modern. Then the finish for me, which I think a lot of developers sort of miss out on sometimes, and I don't think I'm being unfair in saying that, the attention to detail. When I look at that and then I measure it through the sort of 3,100 square foot and I see the pricing points, for me, the pound per square foot, if you want to talk it into that sort of terms, it's phenomenal value for money, really, isn't it? I mean, talk to me about the development of the property, because when I went there to see the properties, you were talking about the different construction types that you've used, and I'll get on to the technology and the eco-friendly aspect of it, but talk to me about the actual development that you've used, the construction you've used on this site.
So we're trying to kind of lead the way in SIP panel construction on Almond Estates. That's what our focus is. We genuinely believe that that's the way a lot of the country's gonna go and has gone already. In Scotland, 95% of Scotland's all built out of timber frame and SIP panels. The majority of Ireland's the same. Majority down in the south is the same. We've kind of this band in the UK where we just don't seem to have kind of moved that little bit more with the times. Missed out. I would genuinely believe missed out. I'm a joiner by trade, and I massively see the benefits of constructing in this method, and obviously having that to live in. I built my house traditionally. And I wish I'd never done that now.
Really?
I wish I'd gone SIP panels on mine, 100%.
So the properties and the developments that you're going to do going forward, are the majority of those going to be SIP panel, or are you going to look to put everything SIP panel going forward?
Everything's going to be SIP panel going forward. We've just built a couple of other sites there that we've done traditionally, but moving forward, everything's going to be SIP panel, just based on this development we've done here now, from a productivity, from a kind of a better end product for the end user. I think it's just a better system. And SIP panels, like timber frame, is different to SIP panels. SIP panels like the Rolls Royce of timber frame in effect. So it's a pre-insulated cassette panel that comes pre-manufactured and dropped in and craned in inside and cassette built, but then obviously from a usability and an end result, you end up with a fully airtight, not fully airtight, but a very airtight property, obviously as close as it can be, to the point where we've had to put MV systems throughout the properties to create the ventilation, to keep the air moving. So that's how efficient they are. Is in the fact that now we've had to put this. You have to put the MV system in to keep the air moving in the properties. So,
and I suppose with the eco sort of environmental sort of aspects and the cost of living aspects as well. And when you're talking of a house that is a large property, the benefits then for the buyer and the user moving into those properties, how are you seeing that? And especially on your own sort of property you've dealt with as well, how are you seeing that for the cost of living sort of aspect?
Well, the show home that we put down at Preston, we had the air source heat pump, because we put air source heat pumps in this development as well. The air source heat pump, we had that running, and we got the ground floor temperature up to 18 degrees in the property, and every thermostat in the house was saying 18 degrees.
Right.
And then we left the house 2 days with no air source heat pump running, and we came back and it had gone to 17.5 in 2 days, and that was in February.
So really, that's nothing of a drop off.
Considering there's no heating on. You go on holiday, leave your house in the winter, you go on holiday for 7 days, you come back, there's penguins walking around. So to have a 0.5 of a degree drop on something that hasn't been running, in effect, has just been containing the heat that was once put through the floor, and obviously your slab then becomes a large radiator, in effect. It's underfloor heating, but we've put secondary floor heating on these properties as well, so all the posi joists have got underfloor heating within them as well. So you've got ground floor underfloor heating, second floor underfloor heating, and then the top floor on the 3 level ones. We've got radiators above. Those radiators will never be switched on, but we have to have them for the sap packs.
You've got to have them there though. But it's like you're saying, from anybody that might be concerned about when they're buying a property of that big or that size, fundamentally, it's a cost benefit, isn't it? Because the running costs of the house itself,
next to nothing.
Fantastic.
I don't think there will be. I mean, people have got this perspective of air source heat pumps being expensive to run. But they are if they're an old unit, if they're in an inefficient house in terms of something that leaks like a sieve, then obviously you're going to have problems with heat loss because air's getting out, so they're not airtight. So that's part of the reason why we went down the SIP panel as well on this site. was purely because we don't have gas in the area, so the air source heat pumps. But given the fact that we've had a 0.5 degree drop on something, it just shows that the method of construction alongside then the air source heat pump, and then secondary to that, we then also put solar panels on the roofs. So we've got solar panels that are a 3.6 kilowatt output per hour, and also we've put the inverters in there where you can have the batteries in. So they can, if the end user of the property wants to add batteries to the inverter, then obviously we can direct that energy. Then rather than taking it back to the grid, they can store that within the house, and then they can send that energy back down to the air source. So actually, combined with the solar panels running efficiently and the batteries stored inside the houses, alongside the fact there's no gas, you're practically only paying for your water,
which is phenomenal, isn't it?
And the fact that the construction method also then doesn't have a heat loss. I can't see them being beaten in the market.
It's the future. I think when we were initially walking around the development, I think I said to you, this to me, as an uneducated person in SIP panel construction, because I didn't know about it really until I discussed it with you, and then I was looking about the benefits to the buyer of having a house that's that big, but it's also got that sort of eco-friendly aspect to it. I suppose all the new systems that are being put in place, like the air source heat pump, and with the construction and the fact that it is so well put together, it fits hand in glove with what the future of building's gonna be.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I think where people get it wrong is then they don't have the style and the look of the properties. So, I think we look good on that development.
Definitely.
I think we look good. I think you've got to spend time on the site as well. If you're coming down as a viewer to look at it, I think you've got to spend time on the site to appreciate, how well sitting they are in the environment, and that was a big thing for us from the design stage, was to make sure that they weren't just like 5 new builds that just popped up all of a sudden and just look ugly in the area. We wanted to make sure that they blended in nicely. Obviously, if you look back on socials, you'll see the level of detail that we've gone to on there with the handmade bricks. We've gone for a Flemish bond brickwork on them. So obviously there's a different, people won't put Flemish bond in because it costs too much money to do that, but obviously there's small little details that we've put in that obviously, other developers aren't doing that because it costs money to do it. But, I wanted to bring those details to that development because I think it's needed for the area, and I think it just sits nicely.
So, Michael, SIP panel construction, I can see the benefits.
Yeah.
What are the benefits to the customer?
I think the benefits you've got to the customer is obviously from the U-values perspective is one, and the energy performance and all of those things that we've discussed I think is one. But I think the other thing as well is the customer impact on the actual construction method. We can have a property or from a SIP panel from slab up, we can kind of get a 3,300 square foot house built and erected within a 4 or 5 week period. So the benefit you've got from that is you can actually walk the customer or the client around the property very early on in the build process, because the subframe goes up and we can get the stairs in there, and then we can literally walk you around the house. So from the difference between that and a traditional builder or a larger building company or a corporate company, a larger building company is the fact that they might buy off plan and then they might only see their house built in 18 months time. I know they've got show houses and they've got this and the other thing covered, but that's quite unique for us, and the fact that we can actually walk them around the plot, and they can physically walk in the room, feel the size and the gauge of the room, within weeks of going from slab to kind of full construction.
I think I was quite amazed with that when I first saw your socials going out about you got the coming to market with the land when you acquired the land, and you got all that excitement behind that, and then to see the size of the house, the quality of the house, but the progression of the houses and the site itself going up, that to me was quite quite fantastic.
Yeah, I think the thing as well is in the UK we've got to also remember that we're wet. It's wet here, you know. And I think the other thing as well is these houses that are built traditionally, they're built up and they've got water just raining in them constantly, you know. And people, you know, then they wonder why the house cracks and shrinks and this, that, the other. Of course, it's going to do. It's been raining for the last 4 months whilst it's been being constructed. You know, we can have the house built in 4 weeks.
Yes.
So you know, it's got less chance of getting rained in. And you know, before anything else goes on, we get the roof on, felted, battened, and the roof loaded out. So we have to get the weight in the frame. So you know, we get that roof loaded out and get the roof on, and then there's very limited water going through that property. You know, so it's not got the same. It's not beam drenched. It's built in a factory with kiln dried timber.
Yeah.
It's manufactured and brought to site pre-constructed. It's then erected within a good time frame, and then the roof's on.
Yeah.
You know, so actually you've got a better product, better insulated, and not piss wet through. You know, ultimately, you know, whereas a traditional build, it's just got wet cavities are just getting drenched all the time, you know, and you've not got that with this, you know, and these are all the positives, you know, for building in this construction method, in my opinion, you know.
I agree. So one of the questions that I've got is that with this being a different kind of construction, how would that potentially affect a buyer when it comes to obtaining finance or a mortgage on this type of property?
Yeah, so obviously there's going to be an impact on that, but it's probably takes away about 20% of the market, I'd say, of lenders, your high street lenders, possibly. You know, they are moving more into that space. A lot of lenders are, because typically lenders only make money when they lend, so they have to lend, you know, and if a lot of the construction methods are going down this route now, you know, it is kind of pulling that 80% up towards the 100%, I would say. But yeah, I think the main thing is that we have to educate our buyers from the offset, and they have to be going to, you know, to lenders that do see this as a lendable product, and there's no problems with that. You know, given the fact that it still leaves 80% of the market with a market of however many mortgage products there are in it, it still leaves a massive opportunity to get lending. So yeah, there's no issues with it. You know, I think historically there probably has been a lot of stigma around it, you know, maybe 20, 30 years ago when it was first being brought to the market, I think, and people kind of latch onto that and sometimes hold on to that. You know, but it's not the case anymore. You know, it's not there. It's just the fact that mortgage lender, your broker who you go to get the finance, needs to be aware of the construction method. So then you don't end up going down the rabbit hole of you know, finance, or, you know, getting your applications in and everything, and then being told it's not possible because they've been advised wrongly to go to the wrong mortgage provider. So yeah, it's no problem, from my opinion.
Yeah, I suppose it's the understanding of the advisor of the construction methods as well, isn't it?
Yeah, from the offset. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, we've got brokers who, you know, can go and get finance for people on this kind of stuff all day long. You know, so there's no issue with it. It's just making sure that you go into a broker who's whole of market and being able to then you know, explain what the construction method is, and then obviously you're away from there. You know, they come with a warranty, the houses, so you know, they've got the warranty provider, you know, fully insured and everything. There's no problem with that. So yeah, it's all more than possible.
So the products are there, they've been used before.
Yeah.
It's having the broker understanding the potential hurdles that might be encountered. And knowing how to overcome them.
Yeah, and go to the right lenders. You know, go to the lenders that will welcome sit panel construction or timber frame as a product. You know, yes, it does come with challenges in the fact that it's not whole of market like your traditional build, but that's fine. You know, ultimately you're buying a better product, so you know, it's there's no issue with lenders. You know, it's more just making sure you're educating your broker.
I think for me as well, dealing with you over the years, I think everything that's resonated with me and how you present properties to the market and your developments, when they're all the way really from the start, how, it sounds crazy this, but how clean the sites are all the way through. You know, they're immaculate when anybody turns up, but all the way through. I think one thing I've seen is your absolute attention to detail when it comes to the planning, the thought, the site itself, and then the eventual finished product. And I think you've not missed the mark on this development either. For me, it's everything that you were talking about, and it sits really handily and easily located towards all the commuter aspects, and you know, and Preston especially, and you're outside in the countryside, but you've also got the benefits of that as well. So as an agent, you know that we sell an awful lot of properties in this kind of sort of pricing point. And I've seen over recent years a big shift in the sort of demographic of buyers across ages and that sort of thing. Are you experiencing that yourself with the current site and with sites that you've sold previously?
Yeah, I think typically, you know, you could kind of pigeonhole people in a certain bracket, but I think a lot of the market now is shifting downwards. I think there's a lot of young professionals that are looking at this kind of stock now to purchase. I think you've got, you know, like close to that site, we've got BAE, we've got, you know, people who are working in Wharton, people who are working in Preston, young professionals. You've got you know, I think it's kind of a wide open goal now for anyone who's in the market to purchase. You know, I don't think there's a set age bracket, to be fair.
It's across all spectrums, isn't it? Across all fields, you know. Younger, middle age, where you'd more traditionally have seen that, and also I think you've mentioned older who are downsizing, not necessarily downsizing the value of the home, but downsizing the running costs of the home, and then wanting a more efficient property, but does sit with the character and the location of what they're used to. So I think the market's changed massively from that point of view, and I totally agree with that as well.
You got like your higher earners, your double salary earners, you know. Young professionals, people who have made a lot of money in COVID, and people who have made a lot of money, you know, in the recent years, and have kind of got that disposable income now and that disposable cash reserve to just go, you know, I want my dream home and I want it now. You know, I think that's kind of where we're at.
And it's that style as well, isn't it? That style that you can make an investment in, knowing that investment, well, you'd hope that investment sits with the style of property, the future-proofing aspects of the property, and the efficiency of the house. So from a long-term basis, it makes that, like we were saying, the pound per square foot sort of aspect to the homes, the future-proofing aspect of it as well, it makes it for a solid investment.
And the affordability to run long-term as well, you know, I think they're all pluses,
Big pluses. So one of the things that I was really impressed with as well, and it's something I literally have never seen before with a builder, and you know, you can advise me on this, was the use of technology and information within the property. I mean, there's a QR code that sits in that house. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the most technologically gifted person, but talk to me about that, and what's the purpose of that, and how can that benefit the buyer?
So obviously from a developing, from the design stage, from the buying stage, design stage to the constructing phase, there's so much information we've got to gather, reports we've got to pay for, things we've got to do to kind of bring all of that to fruition and make the end result. And then it's kind of only that point where I sat back and I thought, you know, actually this is useful information, not for us anymore. Once we've walked off site and we've sold, and that's us done. But each property could benefit from having this information. And so we basically, every house that we sell moving forwards will have its own unique QR code built into the property, which is a scannable QR code underneath the stairs, which is a lifetime kind of document there. And in that document, you've got every report that's been done, all the structural calcs, you've got all of the, you know, foundation spec, drainage spec, SAP calculations, as-built calculations, all your e-book manuals for your appliances can be uploaded into it. You know, everything that was taken it from being a piece of grass to the house that sits on there now. And also what we've kind of put together is a specification chart in there as well. So let's say, for instance, the end user wants to create a barbecue area and they want to build it out of the same bricks. They you know, rather than asking us as developers or trying to get a brick match, you know, we've also put in there what the brick is, where the brick's bought from, so then actually they can then build the barbecue and it matches the house. Or if they want to kind of add an extension, or they want to do anything on the back of the property, if they walk outside and there's a manhole, you know, in the patio, they can go on the QR code, scan it, get the drainage report get the drainage strategy report off the e-manual, look at it, walk out the back door and go, that's foul, it runs that way and goes left and goes down there, so they know then where the drains are. The large cladding on that development that we've done down there, obviously the cladding there, they can see where it's been bought from. If they wanted to add anything else to the house, they've got all that complete transparency. Really, I should imagine that. But well, I think transparency is the word that kind of come to my mind when doing it. Is more the fact that what we're trying to do at Almond Estates basically is get away from the stigma of new builds aren't good, or new builds are
certain
qualities aren't good, and we wanted to kind of give that complete transparency across to the end users that we've nothing to hide. End of the day, you can look back on our YouTube channels there that we've got videos of plot 2's foundations being poured. So if they want to kind of see what's been put in the ground, they can go on the YouTube channel there, look at it, and say, "Here's me stood next to a hole pouring concrete in it." Here's your house being built in effect. So it's like following your own self-build from start to finish, and here's the handover book. Equally so on the we've got the tradesman as well, so each tradesman details, so whoever did the plumbing, whoever did the electrician, electrics, so you've got their contact details should you need to contact them about anything, or you need to understand how the air source heat pump works, or how any of the technology that we've put into the property works. Then obviously you can reach out to that source directly, and they can come down, they can do a walk around with you and explain as to what's gone on and where we're at.
So that's amazing, that really, because you're not only giving that from the peace of mind of the quality of product that you've built, you're giving that utter transparency, and I'd probably say reassurance to the buyer that transparency is there for you. But also you're doing it in a way whereby you're not just handing the keys over in effect and leaving the people there. 2 months down the line, it's like you're saying, if somebody doesn't realise how the heat source pump's working, or something about the plumber or anything, that information's there from on hand all the way through going forward, and the next buyer going forward again.
That's it, exactly.
To always have that information. That for
me, positive, really, because obviously anyone else coming in, because not everyone's into the technology, not everyone knows how it all works. I don't really know how it all works. If I was buying something like that, I would want it to be shown how to put it together, and I think that's a lot of people also need that guidance, and for some people it can fear them, can't it? And the other thing that's obviously we've integrated into those properties as well from a technology standpoint is the fully smart home integrated. So every house comes with its own portal, so each house gets its own login, and each room has been spec'd for the Sonos, each room has been spec'd for the speaker system. It's all been spec'd, well, it comes with cameras anyway, the properties come with camera, but it's all been spec'd for like the blinds, for instance, like the apertures of the windows have all been put into the system. So then if they wanted to put electronic blinds throughout the property in 4 years' time, they can go to the portal, they can log onto the portal, they can click grey blinds, electric, snug, for instance, and they can press installation or delivery only. If they press installation, then obviously 2 weeks later a guy will rock up with that blind and fit the blind for them, and that's a lifetime portal as well that comes with each property. So that's for all you, if you wanted to integrate your smart home lighting into it, and you control all your heating and your underfloor heating through your phone. That's all that infrastructure has been put into the houses, so it's up to them as the buyer. We've not put the infrastructure in, but they're all wired up and ready to go. So then if they want to add to and kind of put that infrastructure in, this year, next year, the year after, whenever, they can just log onto the portal and it's already there for them. So it's a benefit, obviously, that other developers aren't doing.
It's fantastic.
This is why I say, if you're in the market, value for money, and if you're in the market, come and learn about what we've done, because I don't think there's anything been done or thought about like we've thought about it.
I think it's just an experience going to see the site, going to see the houses, seeing what these houses offer in terms of how it will benefit the buyer going forward. So from your perspective, I know how hard you work, and I know your standards. They're right up there. From your perspective, how proud are you of this development?
Oh yeah, I'm really proud of it. Yeah, it's been our little baby for the last 18 months, longer to be fair, since it was ever brought to me. But that's the same as any site that gets, we've got new babies growing at the minute.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that's just how it works as developer. People see this end result now, and they don't realise the 3 years of effort that's gone in the background to kind of bring this to light. So yeah, from a how proud am I? I'm very proud of what we've managed to achieve. I think it's fantastic in its entirety, and I think it's a case of come down, have a look at it if you're a buyer and you're seriously looking in the market. And I welcome you on site. Come on down and let's show you around. And I'm proud of it. I think we've got some fantastic other opportunities coming through as well in the future, but these are the ones that are ready to rock and roll and get bought now. So
definitely great opportunities. Yeah. So currently, as we sit now, how many are available?
3
are available. Finished products on these, you're looking at everything done by when?
So tarmac's going down 10th week commencing 10th of June,
right?
And then we've got the end of June. We've got the first couple of buyers moving in.
Yeah.
So we'll be coming off site then. First week in July. So that's where we're kind of sitting at the minute with the site. So yeah.
So talk to me about the 3 remaining properties that are available.
Yeah, so as you come into the site, you've got the first one that meets you, which is the show home, and then you've got the 2 behind it. Like I kind of said about this site being unique, a lot of these developers will just have a house type and they'll just cut and repeat and
cookie cutters.
Cookie cutters, that's it, exactly. Whereas what we've got down there is we've created 5 very, very unique layouts. So, some are over 3 floors, some are over 2 floors, some are a larger footprint downstairs. They're all very much similar in square footage, but they are very much different in layout. So, if you liked one of them, then if one of them did go, then that opportunity is not there again to buy. So it's gone. So I think that's the other thing to get across to anyone who is looking is kind of how unique they are. Is the fact that yes, it's a unique site. Yes, there's 5 unique dwellings on there, but there are also 5 very different dwellings as well.
They are, and I think if there was 3 remaining, 2 are left. If it got down to the final one, I wouldn't be disappointed.
No, that's it.
They're all, as you say, every one of them's got.
People want something different from a house. Some people want different things from a house. Some people, So I think it's a case of come down, have a look, and see what tickles your fancy.
What works, but get in there quick.
Yeah.
So, firstly, thank you very much for your time.
No
really
problem.
Appreciate it. As always, massive insight into the development. And I think we're both quite passionate about that development as well.
100%.
You are, definitely. And I think the quality is absolutely fantastic. So thank you to Michael Almond from Almond Estates. I'm Simon from Benrose Estate Agents. This is an amazing development. There is an opportunity currently, but this changes all the time, for 3 remaining properties, each of which are individual and are beautiful. So I would highly recommend that anybody that was interested, you get along to the site, have a look, and they see the quality and the attention for detail in what is a superb location for themselves. Thank you very much for your time.